Welcome back to Auto Pulse, the channel where we dive deep into the world of military machines, legendary vehicles, and powerful engineering marvels. Today, we're taking a closer look at a lesser-known but highly significant piece of World War II armor, the Soviet T-50 light tank. This tank, while not as famous as the T-34, was an ambitious attempt to modernize the Red Army's armored forces before the war escalated. The T-50 was conceived in the late 1930s when the Soviet Union recognized the need for a new generation of light tanks. At the time, the Red Army primarily relied on older models like the T-26, which were becoming outdated. Soviet engineers wanted a light tank with improved armor, speed, and firepower that could match or even surpass the capabilities of similar tanks used by other nations. The result was the T-50, a tank that, on paper, seemed like a game-changer. The T-50 was designed with several key improvements over its predecessors. One of its most notable features was its armor. Unlike the thinly armored T-26, the T-50 had sloped armor, which significantly increased its effectiveness against enemy shells. The armor thickness varied between 37mm and 45mm, making it one of the most heavily protected light tanks of its time. This was a major advancement, as sloped armor would later become a defining feature of Soviet tank design. Under the hood, the T-50 was powered by a V4 diesel engine, producing around 300 horsepower. This gave the tank a top speed of approximately 60 km per hour, making it relatively fast for its class. The diesel engine was a crucial advantage, as it was more fuel efficient and less prone to catching fire compared to gasoline-powered engines used in many contemporary tanks. In terms of armament, the T-50 was equipped with a 45mm 20K cannon, which was a standard weapon for Soviet light tanks at the time. It also had a coaxial 7.62mm DT machine gun, providing additional firepower for engaging infantry and soft targets. While this armament was sufficient for dealing with early German tanks and armored vehicles, it quickly became clear that heavier enemy tanks like the Panzer III and Panzer IV posed a significant threat. One of the most interesting aspects of the T-50 was its advanced suspension system. Unlike older Soviet tanks, which used simple leaf spring suspensions, the T-50 featured a torsion bar suspension, providing a smoother ride and better cross-country mobility. This innovation improved crew comfort and made the tank more effective in rough terrain, a crucial factor for the vast and often challenging battlefields of the Eastern Front. Despite its promising design, the T-50 faced significant challenges that ultimately limited its production. One major issue was its complexity. Unlike the simple and easy-to-produce T-34, the T-50 required more advanced manufacturing techniques and high-quality materials that were in short supply during wartime. This made mass production difficult, especially when the Soviet Union was already struggling to keep up with tank production demands. Another problem was its cost. The T-50 was expensive to produce compared to other Soviet light tanks like the T-26 or the BT series. Given the urgency of wartime production, Soviet leadership prioritized quantity over quality, focusing on tanks that could be built quickly and in large numbers. The T-34, with its balance of armor, firepower, and ease of production, became the preferred choice, overshadowing the T-50. As a result, only about 65 T-50 tanks were ever built, making them a rare sight on the battlefield. Those that did see combat were used primarily in the early stages of the German invasion of the Soviet Union, where they performed well against lighter German vehicles but struggled against more heavily armed enemy tanks. Despite its limited impact on World War II, the T-50 played an important role in Soviet tank development. Many of its design features, particularly its sloped armor and torsion bar suspension, influenced later Soviet tanks, including the legendary T-34 and the post-war T-54. Today, the T-50 remains a fascinating example of what could have been a revolutionary tank had circumstances been different. It serves as a reminder of the challenges faced in wartime production and the tough decisions military planners must make when choosing between innovation and practicality. That wraps up our look at the T-50 light tank. If you enjoyed this video, Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Auto Pulse for more deep dives into the world of military vehicles. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.